Hi, I'm Maddie. I'm Vintage Spice here on YouTube, and it has been a little while since I uploaded. I'm really sorry about that, but every so often I'll get a comment from someone saying that they miss my videos, they miss my uploads, or they're a new subscriber and they're happy they found my channel, despite the fact that I have not uploaded in a little while. And I just want to say thank you so much to all those people who left those comments. And also just thank you to anyone who stayed subscribed to me through my hiatus. But I'm back right now. I went through kind of a life changing traumatic event over the past few months. So that is what was taking up my time. But thankfully, I've been listing like crazy on eBay and cross posting. So even though I wasn't active on YouTube, I was very much active in my business in general. Sales are the best they've been, I think, ever in like my history of being a full-time reseller. Part of that is definitely due to Christmas, obviously, because sales go up then, but also just probably because I am listing so much right now, and that is really helping. And obviously, everyone says in order to make sales, you have to list every day, and that is very, very true because eBay really favors in the algorithm people who are active. And I would say that even platforms like Mercari and Poshmark also, in order to be making sales consistently, you should be tweaking listings or sending offers or listing stuff, just being active in general. But I do have some things I wanted to share that have been going on in my life and also future plans for some parts of my business. The first thing is that I'm having someone at the end of this week come in and install a bunch of shelving in my basement. And I moved to this house in July, and finally now I have hired someone to come install shelving, measure everything out, and just do all the work for me. I'm hiring him to do everything, and hopefully at the end of next week, I'll have all my shelving in my basement and some in my garage for just all my inventory, because right now stuff is on the floor. It is kind of like a big hot mess. So I'm excited for everything to be using the vertical space in this room instead of just the floor, because lots more stuff will be able to fit in here when things are stacked vertically on shelves. And hopefully I can start filming somewhere that has better lighting then, because right now I'm sitting in this spot just because the background isn't like horrible. But if I were to move my computer any other way, you would not want to see the background, or at least I wouldn't want you guys to see the background. So I'm excited for that. And I did my first high bid auction. I bought stuff and had it shipped to me from an auction house in Philadelphia, I believe, and they did in-house shipping, so I didn't have to pay or coordinate with a third-party shipper. It was super easy, super smooth. They packed everything great, and I just had an amazing experience. And stuff from the auction started selling immediately. I obviously did my research beforehand and did comps to make sure that everything was a good buy, but it was just a great experience. So I definitely suggest or recommend sourcing on a high bid. And I know the Nurse Flipper has a lot of tutorials of how to source on high bid and how to look up stuff in your area. And I think also if you subscribe to her channel, like memberships, she goes more in depth on those things. And she's the one who gave me the idea to source on high bid. So shout out to Nurse Flipper. I also wanted to say that I made ephemera one of my main niches now. If you remember, I made that video a while ago saying I was finally going to start working on the ephemera lots that I had bought, and those have been selling really well, and I've really learned how to keyword and how to research ephemera. So that is one of my main niches now, added on to the other three I usually talk about. So that's exciting. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention, which is probably the most important thing, is that I've decided to make changes with my Depop business. I think that I know that I am not going to be sourcing for Depop anymore, and I'm really just going to be selling through the inventory I have already. I still have a bunch of stuff to list, so I'll still be posting new stuff for the next while, but I will not be buying anything else on the back end. So um, there are a lot of factors that went into that. I would say one of the biggest factors is that the stuff I sell on eBay has a lot larger profit margins. The sell-through rate is much better, so things sell faster, and it takes up way less space than the Depop stuff. And it just wasn't making sense business-wise for me to be spending time on Depop when I'd be making quicker money and more money on the stuff I sell on eBay. For example, with the ephemera, I could have a filing cabinet full of ephemera, and there's couple $100 to $1,000 of inventory in just one filing cabinet in one drawer actually. But for on Depop, for clothing to be worth that same amount, I would have to have multiple shelves of sweaters. So it just space wise and profit wise, it doesn't make sense for me to continue with Depop when eBay is just a better platform for me in general. On Depop, there is a slow season. The summer is very slow for me, not only because there's a summer slowdown, but also because I don't usually sell sweaters in the summer. I sell t-shirts, and t-shirts have a lower average selling price by kind of a lot. So I'm making a lot less money in the summer because of the slowdown and also because of the type of merchandise I can sell in the summer. Whereas on eBay, I don't really have that big of a slow season because I sell collectibles. And I know the auction professor has talked about finding niches that have no slow season where collectors are buying that stuff year round at the same rate as when they're buying it in the winter and during holiday season. So if you're interested in learning more about finding niches that have no slow season, I would definitely check out Auction Professor because he's the one that got me into that idea and helped me kind of like get the gears running in my head to find something similar to what he sells. So yeah, that was a lot of extra information. I'm gonna put a link if you want to skip everything I just said and you just want to see the sales. But anyway, since I haven't posted in a few months, I'm going to make a video right now of my favorite or most interesting or most educational sales from November. So that is what we're going to go over today. And then hopefully I'm going to do the same kind of video for December. So if you stuck with me through that long intro, thank you so much. I think it was pretty interesting stuff, but maybe not. I don't know. Let me know if you found any of what I just said interesting, or tell me what you think about me stopping my Depop business, really. Of course, after I sell through things, because it would just be a bummer to, and not very financially smart to just throw away all the, or donate all the inventory I have right now. So I'm definitely going to keep selling through that stuff. But yeah, okay, let me just flip this page. And okay, I'm going to start with eBay like usual and then move on. And this will include Depop sales because I am still selling on there. And so yeah, these will be my favorite / most interesting / most educational November 2022 sales. Okay. So first, I have this this menu from the 1930s of a restaurant in Savannah, Georgia. So yeah, this came in a lot of ephemera, so I have pennies into it. I think I spent $40 on an entire few boxes of ephemera, so really a dime, pennies into this. I took a best offer of $25 and the buyer was all in for $33.01. And I kind of followed the auction professor's pricing guide where he prices things higher than he would take offers for. That's just the way he does it. So I decided to try that, and that has been really working for me. So although $25 seems a lot less than the asking price of $55, that wasn't a price that I was definitely okay taking. And next is this Wild Republic turkey vulture stuffed animal. I spent too much on this. I spent $3 on it because I thought it was the crow of Wild Republic flesh, and the crow is worth more. But this sold for the full sale price of $13.79, and it is going to the UK. So the buyer was all in for $42.95 for this plush, and this plush sold within a day, even though I was not the only one selling it. But I must have been the only person offering international shipping. So that definitely is what got me to the sale faster than everyone else. So I definitely recommend offering international sales because I've never had an issue with scammers or really, I don't think any problem selling internationally. So I don't really see why not to not have that button turned on. Yeah. Okay. Next is this artisan dollhouse miniature. It's a doll's doll. And I spent $8 on this in an online auction, and it sold for the full sale price of $45.99. The buyer was all in for $54.25. And again, there's the penny for scale, so this is a very small item. Next is a buyer who bought two things, but she bought two things separately. So she paid for shipping twice, actually. And she bought this paper punch with the little boy on it. She paid the full sale price of $22.99, and this is a pretty heavy item, so she was all in for $40.41 for just this one paper punch. And I bought this for $5 at a thrift store. And then she also bought the same one but with a little girl on it for the same $22.99, and again was all in for $40.41 for this paper punch. And I also got this for $5 at the same thrift store. Next is a DVD that I've had forever. When I first started selling on eBay, before I was even full-time, I was selling a lot of DVDs. And so I got really good at being able to look at a shelf of DVDs and pick out the ones that I thought were worth money and look those up. And usually I was pretty spot on with the ones that were worth money. But this was a sealed DVD. I don't even really know what it's about. But when I scanned it, I scanned the barcode and it was a good buy. So I had about $5 into this, and it sold for the full sale price of $45.99. Buyer was all in for $52.76 for just this DVD, and it was sealed. But I think it would have been worth it to pick up even if it was pre-owned, because I think I was the only one selling it. So kind of I control the market on this item, really. Next is two walls to the Marx dollhouse. This is from the 1950s. On Facebook Marketplace, I bought a Marx dollhouse plus all the furniture that came in it. I had about $2 into this when I divided everything out. And I was the only one selling the walls. Everyone else sold the chimney like I did, and the doors, the window frames, and stuff like that. But I decided to also take out the walls and just try my hand at that. And I have sold all 4 walls now. This sold for a best offer of $15.50, and the buyer was all in for $22.95. Next are some Poshmark sales. The first one is this latch hook pillow, handmade. This sold for $20, and so after fees, I'll make $16, and I have $2 into this from a thrift store, and buyer paid the Poshmark shipping, obviously. Next is this really awesome handmade cross-stitch needlepoint type thing. It has a cat on it, and it's supposed to be decor for a bathroom, and I'm pretty sure this was a Christmas present, actually. But it sold for $25, so after Poshmark fees, I will get $20 for this. And I got this at an estate sale for about $1. It was kind of like a bulk purchase, but if I divide everything out, it was about $1. Next is this Fisher-Price Smushies Christmas ornament. This sold for $25, so I will make $20 after Poshmark fees, and I spent too much on this. I spent $9 on this at an antique mall, but I got a really nice message from the buyer who said that she had this ornament as a little girl, and so she has a daughter now, and she gave her daughter the same ornament that she had, this one, for Christmas, and she was excited to hang it up on the tree with her daughter and just have that shared memory with her. So that felt really good. Next are my Mercari sales. The first one is this anteater Folk Manus hand puppet. Let me zoom in. It was big. There was a smaller version, and even on WorthPoint, I couldn't find anyone with my 25-inch long version. The other ones were, I think, 12 inches, so mine was significantly bigger. So I just kind of threw up a price, and it actually sold for the full asking price of $46. Buyer was all in for $57, and this was just an awesome sale. I think I had $5 into this from a garage sale. Next is this carrot plush type thing that came with 3 little plush inside of it, and this sold for a best offer of $14. Buyer was all in for $21, and I wanted to include this because the buyer sent me a message. It took a little bit longer to ship this item than I should have, but I think it's because it was around Thanksgiving time and the post office was closed for some days, and just over the long weekend, I think it ended up being 4 days that it took me to ship because I literally could not access the post office for those 4 days. Like, I couldn't even walk inside of it. And so the buyer was just wanted to make sure I was going to actually ship it. And she said her daughter had the yellow one, this yellow chick, and that was her favorite lovey. And her daughter had lost her yellow chick. So she just wanted to make sure I was definitely going to send it because her daughter was really missing her lovey. So that felt good too. I love getting messages like that from buyers. And then the last Mercari sale I wanted to share was this Pocahontas jewelry. I allotted these up because I had $10 into these because I thought they were worth more. But I priced them up on Mercari. On eBay, I had them listed for, I think, $10 less. And I just threw them up for $30 on Mercari, and someone bought them for the full asking price. They were all in for $35, and yeah, I got this from an antique mall for $10 altogether. And then lastly, I have my Depop sales to share. The first one is a skater sweater. It sold for $23. Buyer was all in for $32, and I have about $4 to $5 into this, which is a great example of why Depop is a lot less profitable for me, because there, I don't think, was anything that I had $4 to $5 in from the other platforms, or at least maybe only one or two things. Like, so many things on eBay I have pennies into, and that is just a big difference between Depop and eBay. So good example right there. Next is this owl sweater, sold for $22. Buyer was all in for $31, and again, I had $4 to $5 into this, and only sold for $22, and it took a little bit longer to sell. So another example there. Lastly is this grandpa sweater, and this sold for $22. Buyer was all in for $31, and I've had this since last winter. And I thought it was going to sell faster for sure, because this is definitely one of like the main things I sell on Depop, grandpa sweaters just like this. And for some reason, this took over a year to sell. It says listed 1 month ago because I relisted it a month ago, and then it sold quickly after I relisted it. But it did take a long time to basically get out the door of my house. So that is what I have for you today. Hopefully my next video will be in 2 or 3 days, and it'll be the same kind of thing, but with December sales that I found interesting or educational. So if you had a favorite item that I shared, or if you just want to leave a comment because I haven't made a video in a while and you have something to say that you wanted to say for months, feel free to leave that in the comments. And I'm so excited to be back on YouTube and just getting my business organized with the shelves in my basement and just making some changes with the structure of my business. But thank you guys so much for being here. If you could hit the subscribe button, leave a like, that would mean a lot. I think that helps videos get out to more viewers. So that would be really helpful. But yeah, thanks for watching.